Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of this channel called Patrick the Runner. My name is Patrick Sheridan and as always I am here to talk to you about running. I am excited about the video today because I think I'm going to tell you all something that I hope really can help you improve your times, basically anywhere from the 800 meters to the 10k and perhaps even above that. So what I'm going to talk about is multi-pace training. Now, where I first heard about multi-pace training was in Peter Coe's book. Now, Peter Coe is a famous trainer and was also the coach and father of Sebastian Coe, a famous British middle distance runner, and I first read about it in his book. I don't actually think he was the founder of the idea. I think that was a guy possibly called Thomas Horwill, who was also the founder of the BMC, the British Mileage Club, where you may have seen me run in some of their races. Anyway, that's not really important. What's important is that it's something that I think if you get to understand the concept, which isn't that difficult, you can improve your own training. Now, basically, in this book, he outlines 5 key paces that you can run through in your training, which incorporate strength and endurance, which is pretty key to being a good middle distance runner. But I also think if you're looking to improve your 5k and your 10k time, if you can work on both your speed and your endurance, you'll become better at those events from the 800 meters to the 10k basically. And I think, as I said, if you take some of the ideas that I'm going to give you here, you can get better. So basically, he outlines 5 key paces. They are 5k work, so 5k pace work, 3k pace work. The third is 1500 meter or mile pace work, then 800 meter pace work, and finally 400 meter pace work. Now, Sebastian Coe was an 800 and 1500 meter runner. So all those paces were pretty important at helping him become the athlete that he became. Now, I've just recently run 14:48 for the 5k, but I would also guess that I'm in the best middle distance shape that I've ever been in my life, and I think that is attributable to some of the multi-pace training that I've done over the last few weeks, where previously I maybe made the mistake of doing too many race-specific sessions that only incorporated one type of pace. So for example, I might do 3 or 4 by a mile at 5k pace off a minute or something like that. But the problem with those sessions is, whilst they were good and did give you a good stimulus, they were also pretty fatiguing physically, meaning it was hard to recover from them, but also mentally were quite draining because it's a long distance to be doing at race pace. So what I started to do over the last few weeks was possibly mix things up a bit and include different paces, possibly run 5k paces but at less of a duration, and I think that's helped me get to where I am right now, and it's also provided a good stimulus for me because it's allowed me to increase the mileage but also keep the quality high, meaning that I've been able to build a good base while staying on top of my speed and pure anaerobic power. But anyway, look, I'm about to head to the track here in about 5 minutes or so, and the session I'm going to do tonight, which I'll show you a bit of, is an example of multi-pace training. Now, I'm going to include multiple paces in this training session, but multi-pace training doesn't necessarily mean that different paces need to be in one session. They can be done at different times. So you could be following a multi-pace program and have one day where you're doing 5k work, then the next day you're maybe doing 1500 stuff, maybe the next day you're doing 400 stuff, the next day 3k stuff. But tonight I'm going to mesh a few different paces into my session and I'll outline the ideas now. But basically the session is 4 sets of 800, 600, 400 with a 3-minute break between sets, and then after that I'm going to take about a 5-minute break after the last set, and I'm going to do 4 200s, starting a bit quicker than 1500 pace and progressing down to about 800 pace. The 4 sets of 800, 600, 400 are done at different paces. So the 800s tonight are going to be done at 5k pace, then there's going to be a 90-second recovery, then the 600s are going to be done at 3k pace, then there's going to be a 2-minute recovery, and the 400s are going to be done at 1500 meter pace. So if I do those 4 sets, and I might actually do 3, I will see how I feel. It's quite a lot of volume. If I was to do those 4 sets, that would be 7.2k in total, with 3.2k at 5k pace, 2.4k at 3k pace, and 1600 meters or just under a mile at 1500 meter or mile pace. So it's a pretty good session. It's pretty heavy, as you can probably tell, but I think it's the type of thing that will benefit me. And again, the idea is that I'm working on that base work, that 5k work, will be good for me, but it also won't be overly exerting because it's only 800 meters. The 600 meters will probably be the hardest interval, but it'll also be good for me. And the 400 meters will help me get better at running those middle distance paces and also running them off tired legs. And I like sessions like this because I like the idea that you progress through the session and you get faster and you go through the gears as the session goes on. And that's why I also like finishing with those quicker 200s. But look, that's really it. I hopefully have explained that in a half decent way so that it makes sense to you and it's also concise. But basically the idea is that if you can get your speed and your endurance in a better place, then I think that's really going to help you in all events from, as I said, the 800 meters to the 10K really. I know less about marathon and half marathon training because I haven't done any. I've done 13-mile long runs, but that's about the height of it. So that's not my focus. That's not the focus of this channel. But I do think that if you start to incorporate these different paces in your training and mix things up a bit, you can do better and you'll get better race results. So that's the idea. Going to show you how I'm getting on in my session so that you can see it for yourselves. But look, if you find the videos helpful, please give them a like. Please press that subscribe button because that massively helps out the channel. Please also leave any questions or comments in the comment section below. You know I will get back to you, or at least I'll do my very best to. And yeah, look, that's it for now. Oh, you can also get me on Patrick the Runner 97 at Instagram. I'm putting up quite a lot more content there, so feel free to give me a follow there. And yeah, let's see how we get on at the track. It's a lovely day, so looking forward to it. Okay, just the third set of 600. So just the 400 to go. I'm only going to do 3 because one of the time, but 2 mainly because it's very, very difficult. So 3 sets will do me, then I'll go into the 300s. I've hit about 225 for the 800s, which is technically a bit slower than 5k pace, about a second or two, but it's quite tough to do that in training night. 600s have been pretty good, been about 140, which I think would get you about 820 for the 3k, and then the 400s have been a 62, 61. Let's just see if I can sort of keep it controlled, but also kind of get it to 60 here for the last 400. So let's see how it goes. Feeling tight enough in the legs though. Okay, so 59 high. I think I was through 300, 43. So fell asleep a wee bit on the last 100, but that was pretty good. Didn't like absolutely pelt it round, so I was like pushing it, but felt controlled at the same time. I'll take a 5-minute break now, go into some 200s, just get the turnover. But yeah, one of those nights where when you're doing that 800 work, sorry, that 5k work at 800 meters for the duration, almost sometimes you have in your head beforehand thinking it's not going to be that difficult, but 800 meters at 5k pace actually is pretty difficult, and it just makes the session hard then when only 90 seconds after you go into a 3k effort for 600, which is hard and which I think is what hurts the legs. And then it's good to get the 400 to kick through. So hopefully you've got a snippet of that anyway. Probably didn't benefit you too much seeing the whole session, but you get the idea. Put on the spikes now for a couple of these 200 reps, and I'll try to start at about 29, maybe go to 28, then the last 2 I'll push a bit. But let's see how we go, let's see how my legs are feeling.
guys, so on 30 flat, then a 28, 27 high, and then a push that 25.9. So felt good, felt strong, felt quick. So that's us. Thanks for tuning in. As always, if you like the videos, give it a like, press that subscribe button, and let me know what you thought of the session below. Thanks for tuning in. See you again next week.